Hello there everyone and welcome back. Alas, my time with the Imperial Navy is done and I swear to God it seems like my ranking is continuing to climb for some weird reason. Since I haven't played a match since the last few battles that I did on the YouTube channel, and I'm pretty certain it's an inch closer to legendary ranking. It's entirely possible I may make the ranking if it continues this way without playing any more matches with the Imperial Navy. That's what I'm feeling like right now, but it's time to have ourselves a little bit of fun and make possible preparations for my next attempt to legend ranking, but I'm going to leave that ultimately on hold until the reset itself, because last thing I need is to have my ladder or my ranking reset completely as I'm trying to climb towards legendary. So I'll give it a week or two beforehand, but in the meantime, let's play with some Tau merchant fleet at that, and as opposed to playing with the 6 cruiser fleet, I'm going to have some more fun with my traditional fleet here that I start off with when I played with the merchant fleet. 3 battleships, 2 cruisers to serve as like the wall, the durability, and I'm even going to be playing a little bit with these these missile launcher type of battle cruisers, or battleships rather. Since it's a lot more interactive there, or at least a lot more interesting than the traditional just shoot them straight at the opponent, hopefully you kill them exclusively on the seeker missiles. At least with the broadside firing of these missile torpedoes, or at least these missile launchers, that's going to have a lot more dynamic, and I'm definitely going to need to be aware of my positioning quite a bit. Although only 2 of them currently have the missile bays, I would love to have a third one, but yeah, well, the points don't really line up, and unless I want to add an additional frigate, and that's always a possibility, but I think I'm okay with this for the time being. A little bit of fine-tuning is probably required, and hell, even though this would probably be more for like a protector fleet relying more on the heavy macro weaponry, I believe I've been told that the targeting coordinator is bugged. It may not matter so much with my reliance on seeker missiles and bombers with the merchant fleet, but if I were to play with a Tau protector fleet, I feel like this may be a big issue, assuming that's true, since just that slight increase in range is really hard to know for certain, if I were to be honest, and I haven't really had the opportunity to test it myself. But there's a myriad of other things that are currently bugged, like I already hinted at before. The spear crystal lenses disruption overcharge is not supposed to pause the shield regeneration. It's only meant to do that against the Eldari primarily, and pausing Necron's hull regeneration, and even then, I don't think it even works against the Drukhari at pausing or at least decreasing their shadow field. I could be entirely wrong there though. Nonetheless, let's have ourselves a little bit of fun, and hopefully this fleet can still handle itself pretty well, despite being a convoy fleet. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Face off against Tau already, and where the hell were you when I wanted to play against you as Imperial Navy? Especially with my battle cruiser, Overlords and Tyrants. I would have enjoyed that quite a bit. So, I am going to be missing out on a lot of direct firepower is the problem here. And I don't suspect my seeker missiles are going to do a whole lot, but I do have a good fighter count on my own. And interestingly enough, my one flagship with its 4 fighter bays can be really effective against the 6 cruiser fleet, if I were to be serious. Since just the critical mass of having 2 additional squadrons can make them a lot more hard to kill off. At least it spreads out quite heavily the amount of the damage that they can do before an actual fighter gets shot down. So that may be my one strength. Somehow weathering that storm some. How I'm going to do that is going to be a different matter entirely, but I also have a lot of these orcas that serve as a little bit of a point defense too, so I can't underestimate them. Not in the slightest. Although my crew capacity is not the best, so if boarding becomes a thing, that's going to hurt as well. I don't realistically expect seeker missiles to do damage early on. It's the main problem I'm having here. So, the strategy will be to somehow weather the storm, I think. Because, hell, I don't even have quite the long-range, the railgun firepower, do I, to be threatening. I do have battleships, in that they're a lot harder to critically hit, so that's always a plus, I suppose. Hard to say, a lot of uncertainties here.
Forever it will be so.
And I do have a mission dissipator, but don't need to do a whole lot just yet. Again, how the hell do I approach this?
Imperials guide us.
Because I already know what the fleet is.
We serve the
I think that's a given. And ideally, I don't want to take damage in the asteroid belt if I can help it.
At your orders, Koro.
And I'm listing Kyan for boosting as well. I accidentally ended up burning all my boosters, but I don't think that's a huge issue just yet. At least for the time being. I want these things to be served as kind of the point defense they're probably going to be meant for. I think that's where I'm strongest. It's just the critical hits of the Monka stance that's gonna be hurting me a lot. The critical hits, especially on generators, going to be a big deal.
Aircast ready for orders.
Oh, I saw it run with volley there. That's a little unfortunate. Not a huge issue, I suppose, but a little unfortunate.
Corel ready.
And I have 4 charges of the experimental railgun, which can be useful.
Aircast ready for orders.
Yeah.
At your orders, Koro.
Alright.
How may I serve the tower? Honor the teachings of Viola.
Can I board this thing?
Corel, ready. The tower shall prosper. We serve
If
the
you're gonna
Lord.
commit suicide, that's fine. We just gotta make sure
Aircast ready.
I do what's needed to deal with the bombers and seeker missiles.
Patient hunter gets the prey. Barracuda drones launched. The
If anything,
Imperials guide us.
I do have...
How may I serve the tower?
I did launch a bomber squadron.
Gravity drive to maximum. As the
We'll
ethereals
switch to brace for impact, and we'll see about dealing with these some.
Aircast ready for orders.
And we'll work on what happens after that from here on out. Since I can weather the storm decently.
The ethereals guide us.
Now, if only I paid attention, I could see which one was the flagship.
To spread the greater good.
That's a bit of a problem there.
Serve the corrupt.
Of course, the one ship that I have over there is also the flagship. Or at least the one that Skinner pulsed earlier.
The Corvacha. Maneuvering thrusters engaged. Corel.
That's a little unfortunate, but I do have repair drones.
To spread the greater good.
So fighters are doing their things, bombers are going to do very little, but I need to hit.
Forever it will be so.
That's the problem there.
How may I serve the tower?
Can we do the damage necessary? And actually, it helps if...
Identified an enemy target. Gravity drive engaged.
Alright, deck's gone, that's fine. Fighters are still doing their thing, and keep in mind, this is all
Thrusters
the
engaged.
seeker missiles for now.
Forever it will be so.
If I can at least get the shots off. But right now, my firepower isn't impressive. Let's not kid ourselves.
Bombing run underway.
Now, can I fire seeker missiles to make this hurt?
We serve the Corvacha.
Probably not. Because I'm doing a terrible job controlling this. Let's be serious now. Never mind the fact that...
Of Viola.
Oh, I did at least hit the flagship.
How may I serve the tower?
Yeah, this is a terrible job micromanaging this. Let's not kid ourselves.
By my sect we shall attack.
But I do have experimental railguns. I have my own seeker missiles.
Corel.
Actually,
Closing on your position.
can we ram this for good measure?
Strategic area.
Alva shall prosper.
My boarding's gonna be crap. Let's not kid ourselves, but...
The Ethereals has been lost. Calculating new vector.
We're not out of the woods yet.
Bombing run underway. As the Ethereals wish.
I got boarding, bombing.
That cannot be done, Cole.
You have accumulated
Flagship's gone.
10% for strategic.
Sadly,
We
they
start the
can do something about this still.
calculating new vector.
I need to hit with secret missiles. Where the hell is my... Oh, I have a mutiny. Oh, that's the flagship right now, because they destroyed my deck.
Orders. Reporting losses amongst our escorts.
And this one's the carrier ship. Okay. That's important to note.
Chancellor, triumph for the set. As the Ethereals wish.
And I just repaired, so that may have been a bit of a mistake there.
The Ethereals guide us.
Well, let's see if we can at least kill these ships off. Although I'm doing a terrible job killing this one ship, am I?
Coming run underway. Honor the teachings of
Kill that
Dawn.
ship off.
The patient
Fire assault's gonna force a mutiny there. I just wish the flagship was not broken, or at least panicking. That would be kind of nice right now.
We serve the forward. The patient hunter gets the prey. The Ethereals guide us.
Finish this thing off somehow.
That cannot be done, Cole.
I don't quite have the boarding potential though. I'm not going to be able to deal with this quickly enough.
Navitic drive engaged. Corel, Vec.
Execute the crew.
Teams boarding enemy ship.
I shouldn't get... Come on, get everything in here, damn it. I'm, again, doing a terrible job controlling this, aren't I?
We serve the Convoy.
But let's force this ship to panic.
Fire warriors, attack! And your orders, Coral. Pure Tide's teachings guide our
They just killed off the crew, so that's unfortunate there.
How may I
And
serve?
my boarding's worse than their fleet, let's be honest.
The Tauva shall prosper.
Ah, damn it, that was so close. I was 1 second off to that encouraging speech.
The patient hunter.
You have accumulated 50%.
Let's not get ourselves out yet, though.
To spread the greater good.
As much as... Okay. Actually, I should be in good shape now.
Triumph for the
I just burnt all my combustion gauges, the downside here.
For Onva, it will be so.
No, the microphone did not die. I feel like I should have lost that. Because that was abysmal control on my part. Let's be serious. How the hell did I win that match? Alright, I guess we're gonna get our rematch after being denied a Necron matchup, which was what's gonna be before this, I suppose. Either way, I hope I got the bad match out of the way, because it felt like I was terrible on the control front. Which means this could possibly go better for me. I just gotta be, abusing the additional health of my heroes is probably the one thing that went my way, on top of the A3 armor ramming. But I do still need to get my damn torpedoes and bombers to kind of fire effectively. I don't think I did a really good job doing that. And sure, suicide your ship into scanner pulse and everything. That'll do a lot of good, I'm sure. And also, with that said, let's change this fire arc to a prow, since a lot of this weapon, yeah, is all on the prow base, or at least the ion cannons are. So the more firepower that could complement this fleet, the better, but... Now, it's time to see if I just got lucky in that last match or not. Since I should try and seriously grab the objectives, I have fighters to help complement, and at least deal with their fighters. Do I honestly need a silent running, though? I'm in all honesty kind of thinking maybe secret turrets could be useful. Since I have 3 battleships, maybe cause fire results from boarding. There's some ideas here, at least with playing around with them. A mission dissipator is probably pretty useless, although it does work on my cruisers and battleships, so let's keep that in mind too. Are there better alternatives though? I like this idea for boarding since my boarding is not very good in general, so fire assaults and destroying turrets could be effective. But this benefits my fleet better. At least synergizes with a heavy fleet. Only way this could become better is if I decide to go with 4 battleships instead.
Your orders, Colonel. Honor the teachings
And it helps if I have you
of
set to the proper group. And also, I should be prioritizing your deck. That's one thing I never bothered to do. So that shall be corrected some, because that will help with breaking these ships for the long-term fight. Since that's clearly what they were aiming for. And morale is definitely going to be my biggest weakness here if I'm not careful too. But on the plus side, I can deal with their secret missiles and fighters relatively well. So we found out. I just gotta keep my ships in nice tight formation and get what damage I can with the experimental railgun.
Serve the Kovatra.
All the while not making myself as easy to hit.
The Tauva shall prosper.
So let's just group these all together and maybe help minimize that some.
You have seized a strategic area.
And we know where your fleet is, so let's just grab these points just for consistency's sake.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And then we'll worry about revealing them afterwards. Again, I don't like this arc because they can potentially hit 2 of my ships right now.
The patient hunter gets the prey.
But on the plus side, as we found out, I still have the same kind of fighter capacity as what they have. So their main weapon is not as effective anymore. In theory, it shouldn't be.
Ethereals guide us.
And I don't expect these to do a whole lot, but
At your orders, Colonel.
we could try. And then I'll scanner pulse when necessary, I suppose. They shouldn't spy anything. Hopefully Kiro learned a little bit about these reckless
Drones have
fight.
identified
Nope.
an enemy target.
Well, that's convenient.
For Anvar, it will be so. At your orders, Colonel. As the Ethereals wish.
Alright. So this works out well, sure. Suicide your frigates, please.
We serve the Kovatra. Honor the teachings of
Now,
honor.
what's next? Just scanner pulse these things.
Forever ready.
At least make sure they die horrible death. Because yeah, I have these celestial bodies kind of conveniently in my way.
Heretic drive engage.
Sure, I'm revealed, but I have a gas cloud to help with this some.
The Ethereals guide
I think it's worth trying to just stall it out. Just a tiny bit.
Aircast ready for orders.
Then use my own fighters for good measure.
To spread the greater good.
Alright, kill this thing now. There's not much left to it.
Tauva shall prosper.
So there goes your fission. It's going to be a bit of an awkward mess concealing my fleet, but it's going to work nonetheless.
Aircast ready for orders.
Ideally, I like to kill their fighters, because
Ethereals wish.
that makes it a lot easier to deal with theirs.
To spread the
Or what am I trying to say? Now, I would love to know which one's the flagship. I hit something. That's all I could tell you there.
patient hunter gets the prey.
Whether we should be excited for that prospect is anyone's guess.
The Ethereals guide us. Aircast ready for orders. Gravitic drive engage.
Alright.
Drones have identified.
Well,
an
those
enemy
secret
target.
missiles are a bit of a whiff.
How may I serve the Tauva?
Now, let's deal with this quickly.
Ethereals guide us. We
Because you
serve
know
the
I'm
Kovatra.
probably in a lot of trouble if I don't engage this quickly.
Honor the teachings of Viola.
You have seized a strategic area.
To maximum.
That was not what I wanted at all, damn it. I hit the wrong key and it's going to cost me dearly.
Honor the teachings of Viola.
Now, I really wish they had a hotkey for these seeker missiles. That would be amazing right now.
As the Ethereals wish.
Come on, board a damn thing. I would like a board. Now we have seeker turrets, keep that in mind. And oh, I gotta remember my cursed things are also on broadside arc. That's an important factor as well. Ah, that was a bad shot, wasn't it? And that was a bad shot on my part. Yeah, these are on the broadside arcs. That's what went wrong there. But we have point defense now. This is on mutiny. And let's see. Actually, let's just ram these things. Especially if you're gonna show your side to me. Thank you for hitting yourself there. That was a foolish thing you just did.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic.
Again, though, we're in a situation where my dang flagship is being a bit of a pain to control, but... oh, I guess we'll deal with it for now. And that's my carrier ship. I gotta remember, for some reason, my carrier, my dedicated carrier, is not really the flagship. It's a bit of an odd thing, I won't lie. But my point defense is doing well here, and the seeker missiles are gonna do decent damage. And did you seriously miss with that railgun? That's not a very difficult thing to hit. I'm a little disappointed. You are a legendary player. I am gonna shame you by wagging my flagship in your face. Aww. Well.
Fire warriors attack.
Wow.
Crisis teams.
Apparently the frigates are so overpowered they are neutering the protectorate type of fleet. I know it can be really damn intimidating. But I think at the end of the day, the fighters are what's making this fleet work. Because in theory, I have the same amount of fighters they do, with the one carrier ship at that. I don't know what to make of this world anymore. But yeah, it is a lot of hit point, that's for sure, but they were prioritizing my deck, they were destroying that well. And I'm doing a terrible job keeping my flagship going, I suppose. More of the story there. Okay, we're gonna get ourselves something different. Although, if I were to be honest, I would have liked that Necron matchup that will never happen, I guess. Since my opponent decided to auto-concede out, whatever that glitch mechanic is, so... we'll be left wanting there, because that might be a difficult matchup, since I'm relying so much on my ordnance to kind of do the damage. And I realized one important thing that I feel like an idiot for. The reason why I've been doing so well against Kiro Nero is because I have two dedicated carrier ships here to Fascia, as opposed to a single one, which I assumed I had all this time. So I was hoping to play with the seeker missiles a lot more, especially on the battleships because they're a unique firing angle. So maybe we're due for another video just so I can play with 3 dedicated ones. I'm just going to have to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with the extra points that I have to utilize. Maybe I might do something stupid like switch over to a Crude War Spear or something with the extra points. It's an idea because I actually do like the Crude War Spears, but it's kind of on for the same reason why I tend to like the rocks. So maybe that's not as exciting as it could be. Otherwise, it's been an odd start for me, I gotta say. Having to deal with the 6 cruiser fleet and fumbling my way through a victory, maybe? It seems odd, I wasn't honestly expecting it since, again, I have so little direct firepower, and Tau, especially the 6 cruiser fleet, should in theory be able to deflect my own weaponry back at that I shoot at them incredibly well. I guess at the end of the day, I think my opponent was trying to be a little too aggressive. If I were to kind of criticize it maybe a tiny bit. since that's my only weapon, I feel like anyway. Although, let's see, a couple of double railguns. I think for the points, maybe. I'm gonna have to really look how potent these are. Also, the cruisers, I'm pretty certain are pretty comparable to the Protectorate type of cruisers. Either way, this fleet was kind of designed not to rely on its weaponry to win, just the absurd amount of bombers and missiles, ideally. Let's see. Oh, this person is not using solid running, so they are having emission dissipators, though, interestingly enough. So I wonder. Well, this seems like it might be a newer opponent, to a little slight extent, because that is also a Khorne portrait, is it? I believe that's Khorne. If memory serves me correctly, that is Khorne. So maybe they don't, and probably they don't have the level, the Admiral level 10 upgrade as well to complement that.
You have seized a strategic area.
And also, let's launch a couple of fires to start to detect them, but not getting my ships killed, ideally.
Barracuda shoals launched.
And what ship did I end up launching? Oh, I selected the cruiser specifically, I guess, for the first one. I think. I don't know. I'm all sorts of astounded with how this has been playing out. This is my very first type of fleet that I made with the merchant fleet. Since after all, I wanted something that kind of distinguished itself differently from the Protectorate fleet after all. And when you can kind of make the top, or at least the main Protectorate fleet, kind of feel like they have no chance, that is a very promising sign. Now the ultimate question though will be, how will this fare against every other fleet in the game? Because I like having fleets that at least can deal with every type of possible matchup, as opposed to just stomping one effectively enough. Alright, get in the gas cloud. Let's minimize this some. And I gotta remember the dang firing arc too. Make sure to fire on the proper prow. And ideally, have these ships also. Have the frigates kind of join in, is kind of the main idea, since my opponent is playing the kiting strategy some, and hell, I'm pretty certain there were light cruisers over here as well. Now, I want to make sure I don't hit myself.
The ethereals guide us. We serve the Corvacha.
They seem to know what they're doing, at the very least, so there's that.
Corel, ready.
Alright, so this is not going to go well. I'm going to have to start doing this the old-fashioned way, I guess. And I also have repair drones. That's something I should be utilizing. I just don't like the idea of kind of utilizing it too much. And where is my one with the seeker missiles? Hopefully. Actually, let's mark. And you should no longer be marked there. Yeah, I think my opponent's just going to let these seeker missiles hit. So repair drones doing their thing. I kind of forgot that I kind of should be the aggressor against Chaos, as weird as it may sound. Because they're all about long-range harassment with repair drones. I am in really good shape to deal with that. I just don't have quite the seeker missiles. Manta bombers are doing well here. We're going to get in a gas cloud in a moment, so that's going to mitigate that damage really well.
You have seized a strategic area.
And what kind of damage did we do there? Not a whole lot just yet. Although I did prioritize engines, and permanent engine critical hit is a perfect start there. Now this should be a good hit. Now just finish this off and don't give him the proper lance fire ideally. Mitigate that damage, although permanent engine destruction is going to make that difficult to do. I can conceal this at least. Now, turn off your combustion gauge, get to safety, and now it's the big question. Let's fire seeker missiles in a way that they're useful here. Although, I should have... Oh god. For some reason I thought I had enough space there. Apparently
How may
not.
I serve the town?
I was making preparations to avoid those shots as well.
Greater good. At your orders,
And if they shoot the frigates, that's kind of fine. I'm just surprised I'm being revealed. If I had to guess, that's maybe because of...
How may
Well, that's
I
I
serve
just
the
don't want to
town?
fire secret missiles and hurt myself again, ideally. Since I do have them available.
Have identified an enemy target.
So to do this okay.
Spread the greater good.
So what has secret missiles? Oh, the one cruiser and back. Okay, take your free shots on these frigates, that's fine. That just gives me more window to hunt you down some.
Honor the teachings of Vio.
Now, I'm gonna have a hard time trying to fire these secret missiles. But I think I have a window. Well, I take that back. This cruiser's in the way. I'm too cramped for my own good right now.
Imperial's wish. Closing on your position.
You are about to... You do have secret missiles, so let's use that.
The enemy
And we're
has
just winning the
accumulated
attrition game right now, just
25%
because the engine and critical
points.
hits that we're doing.
Corel, let
So I don't think I should be worried, because I have a ridiculous amount of health with 3 battleships.
Gravitic drive engage.
Sure, I may not have the 83 armor, but with them utilizing lances, it's not a big threat.
Escort ship is
I just gotta make sure I don't run out of steam.
aircraft ready.
Okay. Finally, I fired the secret missiles that don't hurt myself. That's always a plus. Experimental railgun's about to shoot.
Barracuda shoals launched.
Now have them fly into my fire.
At your orders, Colonel. We serve the combat.
You are about to die there. Secret missiles are going to make certain of that. So yeah,
Accumulated 25%.
this is definitely a hard matchup for Chaos. I think I even mentioned that before. Just because I can deal with the attrition so damn well. Although, hold on, son, I'm about to have these ships break on me.
Honor the teachings of
Even if my
Vio.
firepower's not the best, apparently I still got a good amount of bombers still available. Even with both my cruisers kind of out of commission right now.
That cannot be done, Koro.
So just finish this off, and then we'll clean up the rest, I guess. I haven't really had much of an opportunity to board them, but then again, I don't have lightning strikes to benefit off of just at the moment.
Barracuda shoals launched.
Let's see. I did launch Barracudas, so that's a 4 squadron there. And they are currently marked. I gotta make sure it stays that way, which is hard to do right now.
Maximum.
But they are kind of running out of steam, so let's not get too complacent.
Gravitic drive
And your engine's
engage.
permanently gone.
At your orders, Colonel.
Did I mark that? I'm pretty certain. I'm hopeful that marked.
Power shall prosper. Bombing run underway.
And let's see if we can finish this off.
The ethereal's
Because all that's left is what? This. Nope. This is going to be a bad shot, is it? Nope, it connected.
aircraft
I'm at risk of hitting myself with secret missiles, so let's always be careful of that. And the one with the heavy amount of ion cannons is a good way to know which one fires the secret missiles on me.
One of your strategic areas.
Since all the carrier ships have the railguns, the ion cannons the one with the secret missiles.
Accumulated 50%.
That's something I should use to try and distinguish them really easily. Because it's working out nicely here. If this explodes fast
The enemy
enough.
has seized a strategic area.
Destroyed one missile, but I think
honor
that's
the
game.
teachings of Vio.
Because we're grabbing the one objective there. I didn't even pay attention what this fleet was.
At your orders.
I'm going to assume a lot of Acrons, maybe. Because they're like the best for this type of role.
Well ready.
But we just had the raw hit points.
Spread the greater good.
Never mind, the battleships are incredible for mitigating the critical hits too. And 4 charges of repair drones is ridiculous. It is definitely not an easy matchup, at least with the battleships. Maybe Chaos can get some really good critical hits against maybe the 6 cruiser fleet and start crippling them that way. Battleships are a completely different story though. This is why I like trying to find a nice balanced fleet, so that way it's possible to maybe do some serious damage or at least possibly win in all the matchups, because that still looked incredibly one-sided, didn't it?